There's me waving, just checking everything's working. Like I mentioned before, we do our scans. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Notice that the candle is, it's a big candle, big move going downwards. Okay, so a lot of people, when they see that, they could be like, oh my God, let's short it. You know, it's going to go lower and lower. But it's not, I wish it were that easy. It's never that easy, okay? Things don't just go up. Things don't just go down. You know, people take their profits, they take trades off, vice versa, or they hedge, okay? So we're looking at a weekly chart. We switch back to 5 minute. That's my domain. I like to stay on the 5 minute. I feel most comfortable with it. Everybody is different. 1 minute can be too sporadic, volatile. 5 minutes can kind of give you more of a breakdown of, you know, what's going on. Notice I've opened up the time and sales tab again. Just this kind of gives me a quick snapshot of if there's any big players that put on trades, more than 10 contracts. Again, you got to keep in mind for psychological levels. I call them psychological levels. They're key areas. Anything ending in 50 or you know, even numbers, like let's say 76 flat or 76.50. When those moves get taken out, I find a lot more buyers enter the market. And here I am. I entered a trade for 76.48. Okay. Moving upwards. The slow VSI is moving upwards as well. I put a stop loss at 76.42 just in case. Always put your stop loss. You can never know. Anything can happen at once where people just offload their positions and sell, and it can literally just go down to 76.20 in a matter of a few seconds. And there you go. You've lost $300 just like that. Okay, so right now we're going upwards. I'm letting the trade pan out. Notice I put a trend line on the slow VSI. I'm looking at that number to see if it's going to clear it. It showed a little bit of resistance. Also on the left-hand side of the chart, I took off the position mainly because on the 20-day simple moving average, sometimes it could act as a resistance. But right now it's pulling through. If you look at my facial expressions, I mean, I'm pretty focused. I got to learn to blink a little bit more, but I mean, this stuff is intense, folks. Anything can happen at any moment in time. You continually just have to scan everything what's going on. There you go. I'm talking about blinking and I'm taking off my glasses, just sort of readjusting. Looking at the daily chart again. I mean, it is a pretty risky area where that whole 76.50 level, like I mentioned before, it can get wiped out, and then 76 can go all the way down to another support level, which might be 75.50 or even 75.30. For now, looks like we're having really good stability where 76.20 and that level in between, it's stable. It looks like it's had that big down move, and now we're trying to go up for a little retracement. I like what I see in the slow VSI. We're moving upwards, higher and higher. The Woody CCI is starting to turn upwards as well. Okay. Again, folks, I am mentioning indicators here, which if you have any questions about, feel free to reach me out. I'll teach you everything you need to know about this. I'm taking a little break, and I'm just kind of doing a snapshot of what's going on in the overall global markets, okay? Sometimes oil can follow other underlyings or has an inverse relationship. In this case, looks like all the energy products are downwards. I take a quick look at the gold as well, US dollar. Those have a very strong connection with crude oil, okay? FinViz is a great website. I use it quite often just to give me a quick snapshot of what's going on. All right, so here we go. We got good volume. I've entered a trade at 76.63. I've entered it because I like what I see in the slow VSI, and I have a feeling here that if we do break above that white line I drew around 76.70, that we could propel up higher and start going for the 76.80 level and take that out and continue to go upwards. Have my stop loss at 76.58. And again, folks, I'm doing commentary over the videos I've recorded. I would never attempt to trade and do commentary at the same time. You got to be so focused when you're doing this. I give an analogy that trading or doing any type of trading, futures or crude oil, it's like having to perform heart surgery and flying an airplane. Like, I'm not saying I'm a heart surgeon or a pilot, but what I'm trying to say here is you need to be extremely focused. Just focusing on every single key detail, what's going on with the price level, the time and sales, the indicators that I'm using here, and just continually just scan through. Notice also on the columns on the price ladder, the ask size and the bid size, if there's any big levels, like let's say 76.71 has a total of 71 contracts that want to be traded at that price level. Typically, when they go above 120, I like to use those as key areas where once they get taken out, we could see a reverse where prices continue to go higher. Okay, I'm just drawing some trend lines here. Switching between the 5 minute, see if anything's going to give me other clues that I cannot see just from the 5 minute. We're up $90 on the trade so far. Again, the slow VSI, the numbers are continue to go higher. I'm waiting for the WCCI to start turning and going upwards as well. If not, it could reverse down below and we could have a rejection. Oh, here we go. Looks like we have some good momentum. Nope, nothing's going on. All right, folks. And again, listen, I'm trading from a hotel lobby here, okay? I'm using a Microsoft Surface Tablet Pro, small little laptop. I love it. You don't need like 20 monitors with you like you see some guys on YouTube, all right? Keep it simple. Keep it straightforward. Follow the fundamentals, the keys. You don't got to overcomplicate stuff and have, 20 charts on and you lose sight of things. I would say in terms of order of importance, when I'm looking at things, the chart on the very far right where you're entering and exiting the trades, that is your raw data of what's going on. The numbers that I see on the ask and on the bid size, they show me what's truly going on in the market. Everything else, second, I would place the Woody CCI as my judgment for placing a trade on. Then the slow VSI, and lastly, the candles. That's right. Lastly, the candles. The candlesticks, they're, it's just showing you what's happening historically, right? Just because I don't believe in the whole technical analysis, like if you see little dojis or dragonfly candlesticks, a lot of those books, if you read them, they have like a 50% or even less probability that when that candlestick pattern happens, it's going to continue. so I don't place too much value on it. All right. So we're in a trade here at 76.65. I like how the Woody CCI is starting to pierce slowly above that 100 line level. Okay. And if we clear that 76.80 level, it gives us a lot of price discovery to explore what's above. All right. And you probably have a lot of people that who have shorted oil have their stop losses at 76.80. And that just adds fuel to just make that go higher and higher. And that's why I'm keeping my trade here on longer. And I took it off right now. I gave a thumbs up because it could have a rejection right there. And, we're starting to have signs of that. So take your profits. Don't be greedy. Don't expect to take this trade all the way up to $78. You could always have this time in between. Yeah, we did get a slight rejection there. Okay, so we'll just sit back, see for the next setup. If we do cross that 76.80, I would re-enter. Here I am drawing some lines showing you, for every 58 cents up, we have a retracement back down 50 cents. So there could be a possibility that within this channel that the price of oil will come back down here, and you don't want to get stuck there holding a trade. All right, you could lose, if you held a contract here and you're holding it all the way down, you could lose hundreds and hundreds of dollars. All right, so just be careful out there. All right, we're up $200 for the day in our small account. Open up the time and sales tab. All right, here we go. So 76.82. I'm looking where to put my stop here. Or I'm not liking it. See, I might have entered the trade too early. And I don't like it that much. I got caught. Honestly, in this trade, I did get caught where we just had that sort of, a penetration through 76.80, and that was my trigger point. But again, what I want to clarify is we need to be careful. Just because it crosses a specific, a price level, it could be also a selling point as well for others to take their profits, okay? Which is what I think is happening over here. Notice my body language, my facial expression. I am a little bit worried within this trade, but something in my gut tells me that it appears to be profit taking. All right. I mean, everything else on my indicators is showing me that it's going upwards. I'm taking some other clarification on the 1 minute time frame just to see where prices are. And we're starting to move up a little bit more over here. I need to remind myself to blink more. All right, so what I'm doing there is I'm drawing that line. If we get down to 76.56, I'm going to take my trade off, all right? When you're trading such a small sized account like this, your maximum, you should not let your you should not let your account go into a negative. So if you have profits for the day, your stop loss should be so you protect your principal balance, okay? And if you feel that you're having multiple trades in a day where they're not, going the way they are, maybe it's a sign for you to just step aside, come back another day, all right? All right, everything else looks good here for me. We're stabilizing. 5 minute, everything is pointing upwards. Slowly, the Woody CCI is ticking upwards. Keep in mind as well, with crude oil and other futures products of time, all right? So we are at 11:48 right now. Typically, every big intervals of time, let's say the half-hour mark or 1 hour mark, you get new data coming in, meaning that you could see how the 30-minute candle will look like, or the 1 minute candle, or let's say 1 p.m., the 4 hour. It paints you another picture, and this gives confidence or it gives confidence and reassurance to other traders that if it's the 1 hour candle or the half-hour candle at 12 opens up, that it continue to go higher. Okay, so here I am looking at the 15-minute. Throughout this time, when I'm in a trade like this, when it goes against me, I'm even though you can't really tell from the screen, but I am breathing in a certain way to just keep myself calm. Here I am drawing the line. So we're moving back up closer to where we entered our trade initially. And what I'm trying to project over here is if we do cross that high on the 30-minute candle, that prices could move up higher to the $77 mark. Okay, so here I am looking at the 1 hour candle. I have my time and sales open just to give me some feedback to see if there's any big buyers or sellers coming in as well. And like I mentioned before, it looks like everybody might be waiting for the 12 o'clock or even 11:50 for a new candle to form. We're down $30 on the trade. It's still open. I have my button on the cancel and flatten all because I'm not really liking it. There's no real activity, movement pushing it upwards. So still holding on. And we drop down. Still in the trade. Okay. So again, I wouldn't really advise. I didn't have a stop loss in this trade. I'll admit it. Not a good idea because right now when I look back on this video, we could have liquidated that back down below that simple moving average or even to 76.55. Here I gave a thumbs up where I think, I feel good with the trade. I want to leave it on. I like how the 5-minute candle is forming. But remember your stop loss, all right? Even I'll admit I fall for that mistake as well too, but always have it on, okay? What I put here right now was a sell target for my current open trade, which I'm thinking if it spikes through here, this big level of resistance, that it could just shoot up to 70. What did we put? 77.09. Yeah. And if it doesn't reach that level, I have my button, my mouse ready on the button, just ready to get out the trade on this up move. All right, so we're moving up 76.87. We cross that resistance. We're up 230 for the day. It's 11.53 right now. And prices they didn't go up as I anticipated. It's never going to work out exactly the way you think it is. That's why you always have to keep your attention on trading and looking at every single thing to give you cues, whether you should stay in a trade or get out, or if something is changing. Okay, so we're pushing up. The 5-minute looks good here. On the ask size, we don't have a big amount of I would say, sellers. Nothing that we've seen before in the previous video of 100 or 120 sellers. Man, what a chart. Look at that. Literally, it wiped out all the gains from the previous day. And here we are stabilizing at that 76 level. So we have some resistance here. I don't like it because, I'm thinking about taking the trade off here. I have my button on, my mouse on the cancel and flatten all button, where we're having some resistance here. And I'd rather take some profit than to give it away. Boom, we crossed it, 76.90. Checking again for the time and sales, if there's anything that will give me clues. Now, when I look back at this video doing the commentary, I probably should have gotten out right here. I don't necessarily like how it's taking so long, but I think what kept me in was the Woody CCI pointing upwards. And looks like we just need one more push above the 90 to take us higher. All right, there we go. We hit a little bit of the 91. Everything else is moving upwards on the indicators that I'm following. We're up 310 on this trade. $76.95. Took off the time and sales. Not really. Yeah, see, I'm just checking. All right, so I mean, I'm pointing my mouse where you had couple buyers. They bought 28 contracts right at 11.55.49. So that gives me some reassurance that the move is strong. And I took it off. Because there is profit taking, which again could reverse and then start having a big sell program come in. So we're currently up 270 for the day. The account, we started off with $1,100 roughly in US. We're up 1,759. Okay, I'm just here observing the market. Again, like I mentioned before, anytime you have, like a even number, like 77 or a clear dollar mark, anything moving up above and below, you could have some resistance. I entered this trade because I think there could be another push moving upwards. I like the indicators. Everything is pointing up. I like how the slow VSI is starting to move above the 50, which shows that it's changing trend direction. And the Woody CCI is confirming that. We put a stop loss on 76.90 and we've entered the trade at 76.97. We're looking for that key break above the 77. Usually when it crosses those critical levels like that, like I mentioned before, a round number where it could just shoot up instantaneously. Because look at it this way, you have oil, which was down around $2 today. There's a lot of guys, traders, that they think this is going to be a pure bloodbath where, oh my God, we're going to take out 76 and it's going to go to 75 and 74. And all the contracts I have on, I'm going to become, so rich today. It doesn't work like that. So there's a bunch of guys who probably, have shorts on. You could see that chop zone right around 76.50. And their maximum pain and breaking point is 77. All right. So that means if we cross 77, these guys are losing a lot of money. So what that does is then they have to buy back their shorts, and it just propels the momentum even higher. All right. And these moves, I love them. And I put a stop on, I let the trade, sort of play out. And 77 can easily, in a matter of seconds, just get up to 77.25, 77, even 40. Okay. But again, I'm not saying I know something here or I'm predicting. I'm just observing. I'm very careful. I have my stop on. This is a ruthless game. It's dangerous. It's literally like a war battlefield. You can get killed out here. So you always have to be, on top, viewing everything, every key detail, all right? And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've probably only blinked like maybe 5-10 times throughout this entire video. It's so highly intense and focused. At times I may look calm, but let me tell you, my shirt can sometimes get pretty sweaty. You'd be surprised how on some days that are intense where a trade doesn't go your way, where it could affect you. And if you don't know how to control that, all right, it could ruin you, all right? You could start doing things like revenge trades, where if you have a loss in a day, you don't know how to just say, listen, it's not going my way. I'm gonna stop, call it a day, come back, tomorrow's another day. Some guys will just revenge trade, try to make back what they lost. And let me tell you, when you're trading in that state of mind, it can ruin your account, it can ruin your day, and this is where a lot of people go wrong. So one of the difference between me and a lot of other institutions or organizations out there is I incorporate things like breathing techniques and visualization techniques to help me stay calm and relaxed and cool when trading, all right? This is just a small trading account. This is to show people, even with $1,000, slowly you could, grow it organically. When you're trading a bigger account, with 5 to 10 contracts on, it can make a big impact on your state of mind. And here you go. I took a little break as I'm just talking about that. I'm closing my eyes. I'm doing a few deep breaths. I'm resetting my mind and just, what is my goal for today? What's going on here? I'm trying to let my subconscious do most of the work. And that is why I'm continually going through all the charts, different time frames. All of this is just being input into my subconscious mind, and it's helping me to give me confidence of when to enter and exit trades. But I'm not solely relying on that. I'm using the indicators that I have here as a precursor of whether to enter a trade or just stay out of the market, okay? So entered another trade. We got in at 76.97. We put a stop loss at 76.90. Again, we're looking for some clues in the time and sales to see if there's any big buyers. And the candles, they look great. On the chart, on the 5-minute chart, it looks like it's pushing upwards. Switch it over to 15. Keep in mind we are at 12 o'clock right now. All right, and this looks like a great setup. Okay. And I do have one indicator on the actual chart itself, which is a 20-day simple moving average. Yeah, I took the trade off. Nothing was happening. Okay. It could be a big resistance level where people just start selling and got right back in. Something is telling me from the slow VSI just to stay within the trade as we're moving higher and higher. And we just got to be careful here. All right. We have to be careful here because it could shoot down and, it can give back all your profits you made for today. But I like how it's continually just pushing slowly higher and higher. We have more stability at this level. And we're just waiting for these shorts to get taken out above the 77 level and make our way upwards. And there, you're going to see on the price ladder on the right-hand side, there's a little box sometimes which is in a purple color, all right? That's called the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, all right? I'm going to put this on the actual chart that you could see and visualize. We're going to get to that. See, you could just see it right now on the screen, 77.25. Oh, checking something. I think my internet, something slowed down. No, everything's okay. All right, we're at 77.10. And let's just see what's going on with this trade, and I'm going to get back to the VWAP for you so you can have some more insight on that. So far, the trade looks good. And again, don't be greedy here. I mean, take in a small-sized account like this, taking a few profits at 100, 70 to $120 is great. Just, there we go. Nice move up. Let the trade run. And I'm starting, since that purple box that shows 77.25, that's telling me to possibly get out of the trade. All right, and which I did. And one of the reasons why is I'm not going to get into too much details. Listen, I'm giving you contacts and feedback. Yeah, here in the video you see I'm just saying thumbs up and we're done for the day. Yesterday we had a profit of 380 and today we had a profit of 380. In Canadian dollars, that's $525 per day. With 2 trading days, I would say those are two great successful trading days we've had. And our account balance now is at 1869. I would say we're staying below 10 trades per day. Okay, so here we are back at the VWAP. Listen, I'm not going to educate on you on these things. You need to do that. You need to study everything. Learn what everything means, whatever, all these indicators, how they work, who developed them, how they behave. All right, but the VWAP. Keep in mind, in the trading industry in the world, you have institutions, you have large banks, you have hedge funds, you have algorithms. Like, who's trading right now? I can't even tell the ratio of how many retail traders there are in this sphere right now. There's probably 90% algorithms, all right? People's algorithms set up by the big banks or institutions or energy firms who are using to hedge with their exports of oil, companies like BP or Shell. Anyways, the VWAP, sometimes a lot of people use it as an indicator where they're not going to buy a particular underlying if it's below the VWAP and vice versa, or they're not going to short it if it's above. Sometimes I take this into account, There's a lot of things here that you could put onto the trades, like there's Fibonacci retracements or this indicator, that indicator. I don't give it too much weight. Sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't, but the VWAP is one of the big ones, all right? And I took the trade off here. Even though we did cross that big level of 77, there could be a lot of resistance in the VWAP where people just start shorting it again. All right, so we had a count of 7 trades, 57% win rate. Losses, they look great. Look at that. We have -10 and -10, -30. I think that's a successful day right there. Close it off, and that's it. Thank you once again for viewing this video as well. Please feel free to contact me at itradeoil.com or my personal website, alexrajak.com. I offer one-on-one coaching 1-hour sessions just to help you get started, get familiar. Listen, there's a disclosure here. I'm not a professional trader coming from a bank of any sort or anything like that. This is just my journey. I started 10 years ago. I've done everything. I've done penny stocks. I've done options, you name it, ETFs, SPY ETFs, Tesla shares, Amazon, scalping options, putting on iron condors, vertical credit, debit spreads, you name it. I've done it all right? I've traded NASDAQ futures as well in the past too. And for me, it's I find crude oil fits right for me. I like the way it interacts, it behaves. You could notice when you're viewing the video here, when we're crossing those round numbers where there's big up moves or resistance. Okay, so the disclaimer here is that, listen, I'm not a professional trader. I am here to help you if you need guidance how to get started. There's a bunch of bullshit out there on YouTube where people sell you false promises. I'm not selling a course or any of sort. Don't plan to at the moment. I think something like this, you need to determine if you have the personality for it, how you are behaving under high stress situations. You might even reach out to me and say, you want to do this? And after a brief conversation, I might just tell you, you know what? Don't even get started. I don't think it's a right fit for you. All right? Focus on what you're doing. Anybody else out there, don't think you're going to get rich doing this. All right? Use it as a way to supplement your income, to have an additional source of income, and to not just be a spectator, but to participate in the financial markets. And yeah, I mean, if you need help, reach out to me. Again, at itradeoil.com or alexrajak.com. And if you'd like to learn how to start off with the fundamentals of trading crude oil, yeah, let's get in touch. Thank you so much.